Our economy is fueled by dynamic workplaces where the impossible becomes possible, where individuals reach their full potential. SHRM impacts the lives of 115 million workers and their families every day. And together, we can build a world of work that works for all. That is our vision: to advocate for better policies, elevate human resources, and develop stronger managers. Still, the workplace needs work. By creating better workplaces, we are truly creating a better world. One person can cause an effect. One person in HR can challenge outdated hiring practices, champion modern benefits, advocate for pay equity, and turn jobs into careers. HR empowers others to not only dream of change, but to create it. The actions of a few affect the lives of many. Join SHRM today to cause the effect you wish to see in the workplace.
Our folks here have over 20 plus years experience. We provide two main areas: Express Requests, which is a compilation of all various topics. You can actually save a lot of time by asking one of our advisors to do some research for you, to bounce off an idea, to find out latest current employer practices.
We talk about every topic imaginable under the umbrella of human resources. Among the most popular would be the Family and Medical Leave Act, the exemption status, questions about the salary basis. The questions go on and on. We could talk about many more of them. And if you want to do that, don't forget one of the prime benefits of being a SHRM member, the HR Knowledge Center.
Hello and welcome to the second annual Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. I'm Guillermo Correa, Managing Director of SHRM Labs, SHRM's Workplace Innovation Lab and Venture Capital Arm. Thank you for joining us this evening. And also a very special thanks to Chicago SHRM and Indy SHRM, our co-host for this segment of the competition. Now, please help me in welcoming to the stage Keisha Underwood, President of Indy SHRM, as well as Jeanette Johnson, President of Chicago SHRM. Hello, ladies, and we're looking forward to the two of you sharing some words, in regards to your local chapters. So, Keisha, the stage is all yours.
Wonderful. Good evening, everyone. My name is Keisha Underwood. I am the local chapter president for Indy SHRM, one of this year's co-hosts for Better Workplaces Challenge, brought to you by SHRM. Thank you for joining us this evening. We're very, very excited to be a co-host again for this event with SHRM for a second year as the tech search begins again for the most pioneering, groundbreaking, original ideas that will reinvent how we do work. Thank you to the competition participants and thank you to our judges. I will turn the stage back over to you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much, and great having you and seeing you again this year. And now let's turn it over to Jeanette. Great to see you again this year.
Thank you. My name is Jeanette Johnson, and I'm president of Chicago SHRM. Here in Chicago, we're the city of broad shoulders where we're known for getting things done. We serve our members by igniting business, elevating careers, and building community. Chicago SHRM is here to connect you with an innovative HR community where we're leading the way in advancing our profession. One of the ways we're advancing our profession is through our Diversity, Inclusion, and Belonging Committee. Resources, educational programming showcase our ability to make an impact on business, and we won SHRM's Pinnacle Award because of it. Membership with Chicago SHRM offers you the opportunity to network with over 3,000 Chicago area companies and thousands of HR professionals and industry experts. Anyone can sign up for our industry news and thought leadership content via our free monthly newsletter. Our upcoming Elevate conference this month, the room where it happened, is being held virtually, so I'd invite anyone that needs to make use of their seat at the table to join us. We're thrilled to join everybody today in the second annual Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. We got to pick a finalist last year, and we're looking to do it again.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Jeanette. And we'll be seeing you in a little bit since you'll be participating as one of our judges as well. So see you soon. All right. So given the state of our workplaces in the world today, this year's competition continues to be just as timely as last year's. Remote work, the skill shortage, mental health, the great resignation, they're all driving the workplace to new heights of innovation. And innovation is the key reason why SHRM launched this competition. The Better Workplaces Challenge Cup is a pitch competition to find the innovators that are solving the most critical workplace challenges. This year, the competition will be global. We will have competition rounds in the US, Europe, Latin America, Middle East, Africa, and Asia Pacific. This is the third of 10 first round segments of the competition. The top 2 companies from this round will be advancing to 2 semifinal rounds. And the top 2 companies from each semifinal round, a total of 4 companies, will be advancing to the finals, which will be held at SHRM's annual conference and exposition, the largest gathering of HR professionals in the world. And this year, it's happening in New Orleans. Today, you're going to hear from 6 very exciting startups. Each company will be providing a 3-minute pitch, and afterwards, they will have a 3 question and answer session with our judges. The criteria these startups will be judged on are, number 1, is this a business that will be able to grow to positively affect the lives and work of millions of employees? Number 2, is this a business that will create better workplaces where employers and employees thrive together? Because you got to have a balance between the 2 of them. And finally, number 3, it's SHRM, and you guys are all HR professionals after all. So is this a business that will provide value to SHRM members and their companies by helping HR professionals become more efficient and strategic? Once the pitches are completed, the judges will deliberate and choose the top 2 companies that will move to the semifinals. Please note that this event qualifies for 2 PDCs towards your SHRM CP or SCP certification, and we will be providing the code at the end of the event. So for now, we're almost ready to get there, and please help me in welcoming our judges for today. First up, we have Susan Ryder, COO at Prevention Group. Hello, Susan, and welcome to the stage. Next up, we have Jeanette Johnson, as you heard, Chicago SHRM President and CHRO at Insurian. And finally, David Wilson, Principal at the Franklin Advisory. Hello, all 3 judges, and welcome to the stage. So let's go ahead and get started here. Please welcome our first participant, Anthill.
We all understand how dramatically work changed in 2020. Overnight, suddenly, it felt like every person in the world started working from home. Or did they? About 2.5 billion people, or 80% of the global workforce, never worked from home the last 2 years, and they probably never will, because their jobs do not happen at desks or computers. These workers are in our ports, our factories, and our fulfillment centers. They are the deskless workforce, and they have gone to work like they always have throughout the pandemic. We have all seen how critical these jobs are to keep our world moving. Yet today, this workforce does not receive the same support as their knowledge worker peers. It has been almost 7 years since I met my co-founder, Young Jae, in our PhD program, where we were studying the workforce and machine learning innovations to support them. We saw that even the largest, most technologically advanced companies lacked a scalable way to connect with and learn about their deskless employees. Deskless employees need to report safety incidents, to share opinions, to request time off, and to be considered for promotion just like the rest of us. But our systems aren't designed to make it easy for them to do that. But how do you reach a workforce that often doesn't have email, doesn't use a computer, and likely won't download or use an app on their phone? Antil enables open, ongoing communication and two-way information access through the most inclusive technology out there, text messaging. We do this without creating additional hassle or burden for organizations, thanks to our powerful machine learning technology that can learn a lot of information from very short interactions. Our technology replies to FAQs, translates into over 110 languages, predicts turnover, and populates employee job data automatically, all while opening up simple two-way communication. Since launching Antil's product, we've grown to a team of 32. We've seen that employees love Antil with an over 85% active user rate. For our over 5,000 paid users, the most common message sent across Antil is thank you. For the distribution centers, plants, and transportation companies using Antil, they report they save hours for their operational and HR teams and are able to resolve issues before it leads to expensive turnover. In the words of one of our users, "Oh, cool, somebody cared enough to help." If you care to join us on this journey and to provide access to the deskless workforce, join us because 2.5 billion workers are waiting. Thank you so much.
All right, excellent presentation, Muriel, and welcome to the stage. And first question is going to go up to Susan. And by the way, Susan, before you go, my apologies because I misintroduced you. You're actually the Director of Compliance and HR Consulting at Human Capital Concepts. So my apologies about that. But over to you, question number one. Oh, I think you're on mute.
Thank you. Sorry about that. My question is, who do you feel are your biggest competitors and how are you different from them?
Yeah, I think the biggest competitor that we face is actually just the status quo for companies. Most of the companies that we go into right now, HR teams are using things like AM radio or boxes in trucks to make announcements to these workforces. And so you're having to kind of inspire them to look for a more kind of advanced technological solution. In terms of other companies out there, though, outside of the HR space, there are kind of operational apps that have kind of been the first stab at this, companies like Beekeeper. But what we hear from a lot of HR professionals is that the adoption rates are quite low because a lot of employees don't have smartphones or want to download something on their phone. And you often just don't see that kind of lens that HR thinks through and applies to these products, things like compliance, which you think about all day, every day. And that's really what Antil is built on, is a deep understanding of what's important to HR professionals when they're implementing something like this.
Thank you.
So second question over to you, Jeanette.
What are some of the things that your clients have said about Antil when you've been implementing?
Yeah, and when Jeanette, you've heard the earlier story of Antil, and so maybe some of what we've changed is surprising to you. We have, I say all the time that we felt like we built parts 2 and 3 of the product before part 1. What we heard from a lot of customers when we were launching our tool that basically helped to create resumes for employees using text messaging and assessments through that, is actually, wow, people are talking to you, they're using this. We've never had them actively use anything before. Over 85% is usually a more than 70% increase of active users from what they've tried before. So then they've said, well, please, can we use this for all of our communication? And that's where we've been adding in a ton of our features and functionality. We've essentially created a employee self-service portal accessible by text message. So whatever kind of HRIS system a company already uses, we can plug into that and basically just provide access to a whole new part of their workforce that didn't have it before. But that we learned from customers. We initially, as Jeanette's heard, we started with assessments that helped us populate data about a population that was hard to reach. But we've really now expanded that into two-way communications because we heard customers wanted this. In terms of success that we've heard from customers, we've prevented walkouts at factories because the air conditioning wasn't turned on and water fountains broken. We've also heard that we've saved them hours every week dealing with issues that were repetitive, that they heard all the time, but now they're getting to help more employees, but having less time burden for HR professionals, which like HR is having to do 100 jobs right now. So that makes us really happy when we get to hear that we're saving them time. But the biggest thing we hear is they say, we finally have a way to do exit surveys before people leave. With this population, it's been impossible to know why people are turning over. And I think that's been the biggest impact of our product this year, is just helping these companies gain insight into that.
Fantastic. And last question over to you, David.
Yeah, so Muriel, so you're a software company, obviously. And so a lot of your employees that you manage probably do have desks. What is your strategy? How do you keep improving product and figuring out, because you might not, obviously you're leading your team, but there's a whole other unique set of challenges for the deskless employees. What's your whole strategy for just constantly improving product and reiterating?
Yeah, I love this question. So myself and every other member of the Anthill team has deep ties to the deskless workforce. I grew up in Alaska. Most of the people I grew up around did not go to college and work in these types of jobs. My uncle's a truck driver. I have family as welders, electricians, all of these jobs that we work with. And that's true of everyone on our team. We have people who didn't go to college, first generation in their family to go to college. A lot of people that have ties to this workforce and care deeply about the unique needs and challenges they face. But we also, my background and Young Jay's background, we met in our IO Psychology PhD program. We've spent years researching this population, and we will never stop being researchers at heart. So we are talking to this workforce all the time. I'd say our company puts just as much effort into our research as we do on customer development, because we believe it is customer development to constantly be learning from these people. The biggest thing I've learned is a lot of the reasons that we attribute the Great Resignation to, like culture fit or supervisor relationship. It's just completely different reasons that this population turns over. It's often practical things that just got in the way of them staying in a job that they wanted to stay in. And that's something we'd only know if we're actually listening and talking to people. Fortunately, we learn that through our product. We talk to thousands of deskless workers every day through our product. We're a communication platform. We see what those communications say. And we're constantly learning from the end user that's actually on our platform, the things that matter to them in their HR experience.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Muriel. And while the judges write down some notes, how can attendees find out more about Anthill?
Yeah, we have a ton of resources on anthill.co, our website, anthill.co. We have a whole blog resources page. We release a ton of case studies. We get tons of insight into this workforce. So if you work with these folks, please download any of those free resources. We hope that they're a big help to you. We're also on all major socials as @AnthillHelps.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's bring up our second participant, Healthy.
Hey everybody, I'm Guy Benjamin from Healthy. We have a saying that U.S. healthcare benefits are simple, accessible, and easy to navigate. This is an exact quote by no one ever. It's the exact opposite. It's a sea of confusion and a huge source of waste. 20% of US GDP is spent on healthcare, twice than any other developed country. $1.6 trillion a year is what employers pay on healthcare. That's $10,000 per employee per year. But 70% of employees have no clue what they're covered for. And their only solutions are either to call a call center or try to read a 650-page document that changes every year. And that is unacceptable. But it also means that employers are losing billions of dollars every year on reduced satisfaction, on lost productivity, and on higher health costs because employees are not as healthy as they can be. We have what it takes to win this multi-trillion-dollar market. We have an experienced core team with a group of about 40 employees that are domain experts and are backed by top-tier investors like Group 11, BrokerTech Ventures, InsurTech, Good Company, and Crescent. We also raised $23 million seed round led by Group 11 to develop Zoe, their first ever virtual chief health officer. Zoe uses AI and can analyze any health plan. Doesn't matter if it's Blue Cross Blue Shield, United, Cigna. And once she does that, she can provide personalized health recommendation for any employees based on their needs, reactive and proactive, meaning what am I covered for? But also, hey, did you know that you're covered for X, Y? Now, what she does is she helps employee find available care options, see cost and responsibility, know network coverage, and utilize their benefits. And it saves time and money for everyone, but especially frustration. Let me show you how it works. So an employee can go on his laptop or on his phone and ask Zoe, hey, I've been having back pains lately. What am I covered for? She immediately goes to his plan and lets him know all the benefits, including the employer provided ones that are available for him, basically his options. Once he picks one of them, orthopedics, she immediately provides him his coverage. In this case, 20% copay after deductibles, and out of network, he's not covered. Now what she does is she shows him his nearest in-network providers, their location, their cost, and his exact out-of-pocket, pro score, which is like a Yelp review, and then when they're available next. So basically, you see that in less than a minute, the user became a consumer. They got much more information than they'll ever get in a call center. And finally, she says, hey, it's been 9 months since your last routine physical. Do you want to schedule an appointment for a checkup? Now, what would employers pay? They want to increase employee satisfaction, reduce turnover, no wasted time on call center, healthier employees, early detection, and also understand the employees' needs to customize their future health plans. All of this for $4 a month per employee. We're already working with a number of companies. We have over 20 customers. And our vision is to create a world where people understand their health care options and take advantage of them and make employees healthier. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
All right. Hey, Guy, welcome to the stage. And for this round of questions, Jeanette, first question over to you.
Yeah, I heard you talk about being available to the employee. Is it also available to dependents on the plan?
Yes. So every employee that onboards can add their dependents and their spouse, the dependents, and then if the dependent is over 18, they'll get their own Zoe. The spouse gets their own Zoe. So yes, and the answer is yes.
Okay. Next question over to David.
Yeah, so you mentioned the $23 million seed raise and that it was used to build Zoe. And I was wondering, was the whole $23 million used for the product development, or did y'all split it into some sales and marketing and things like that, or was that the total cost to develop?
No, so we raised that, and we have there's 40 of us. 15 are in Israel. That's where the R&D happens. That's all the AI, and the rest are here in the U.S. Marketing, sales, partnerships, data. So the 23 million is basically for a 2-year runway of a marketing, sales, and R&D. If you ask me to split it, it's probably 50% R&D.
Okay.
All right, and final question over to, oh my God, I'm going blank here. Susan, sorry about that.
Okay. Hi, so I'm coming at this question from working in the employee benefits field for over 20 years. So my question would be, first of all, I love the interaction that you can do for a consumer, but have you thought about what happens after the claim hasn't been incurred?
Yeah, so basically the way we want to we're creating a Zoe not just to help you access, understand, and utilize their health benefits. That's where we're starting. But very soon, in about 3 months, we're going to have a tool to help employees choose a plan. So we're going upstream. Basically, before you even start using your plans, Zoe is going to help you pick the best plan for you. 50% of employees, by the way, choose the wrong plan. So once we start there, we go into, okay, throughout the year, let's help you utilize the plan, utilize your benefits. And our next product is going to focus on 2 things. 1, billing and claims. Actually, claims and billing. So we are going to help the employees, first of all, file the claims, but also understand their billing, understand their payment. We're already doing it in a pilot environment. But then we kind of become, Zoe becomes your healthcare operating system, all the way from choosing a plan to billing and claims and billing. And we're actually also working with employers on helping them choose the best plan for them, using benchmark and kind of seeing what their employees' real needs are. Because with Zoe, you don't just get claims data, you get actual questions for employees, regardless of what they're covered for. For example, if an employee asks about acupuncture and you're not covering that, with Zoe, it's the first time an employer can understand, well, there's a gap in what I'm providing my employees because there's some benefits that they're not covering. So yes, there is a plan to help with claims and billing.
All right, thank you very much, Guy. And while the judges write down their notes, how can attendees find out more about Healthy?
yeah, just go on our website, healthy.co, healthy with 2 E's at the end. We're extremely, there's a ton of demand now. As I mentioned, we're about 20 customers. We're only been in the market for about three months. Very healthy pipeline. But yeah, check us out online, and we're always happy to talk to any HR professionals that are looking to basically help their employees be healthier.
Okay, excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's bring up our third participant, WeSolve.
Hi, my name is Stella Shallow, and I'm the founder and CEO of WeSolve. Diversity matters for everyone. We know gender and racially diverse organizations deliver better financial returns, but as many top companies are learning the hard way, workplace diversity is not a hope to have, but a top priority. Yet, despite spending billions, U.S. companies are still missing out on quality, diverse talent. As an underrepresented MBA candidate, that talent was me. I was quality, if I do say so myself, in the pipeline, but I was invisible without the network and experiences of my peers. Research shows the number one criteria for hire is a proven ability to perform. Well, isn't that the classic chicken or the egg problem? How could I prove I could perform without the opportunity to prove I can perform? The problem is that companies aren't efficiently reaching and assessing diverse talent for 3 key reasons. 1, they leverage the same few channels as their closest competitors, limiting their reach to untapped pools of diverse talent. 2, recruiters filter out candidates with resumes or tools that only screen for keywords. And 3, hiring managers make final decisions based on behavioral interviews that are proven to be biased. Cue WeSolve. Our platform expands companies' reach to more diverse candidates, and with proprietary research-based skills model, we identify the best hires based on performance in real projects. But can we really do this? We already have, and have generated 6-figure revenue from top companies. For context, in one challenge, we sourced almost 600 diverse candidates for Salesforce that resulted in a quarter of their product marketing hires in 10 days. We've grown our user network to over 30,000 candidates, and as recent social unrest magnifies the call for diversity, our pipeline and waiting lists have skyrocketed. How does it work? A company identifies the desired skills and competencies for select roles. WeSolve's technology scopes the challenge and posts to our diverse network channels, and virtual touchpoints and deliverables inform participants' performance and skills data. Ultimately, companies receive detailed reports where the best candidates are identified by company-specific criteria. We charge companies a tiered annual subscription to access the platform and host challenges, plus a small per-hire fee. We strategically started with MBAs and enterprise companies that hire a large volume of these candidates and are currently expanding to other specialty master's programs. As these users progress in their careers, they'll provide us a beachhead to also win in the experienced professional hires market for all companies. We're a team of big data, machine learning, and IO psychology experts with not only the lived experience and skills to win, but also the grit. We're at an inflection point. Help us create equity and diversity that the world needs.
All right, excellent presentation, Stella, and welcome to the stage. So for this round, David, you want to go ahead and get us started?
Yeah, the only thing I saw in your presentation that I didn't like, my mother is a dean at the College of Education at the University of Alabama, and I saw an Auburn pop up on your team slide, but I won't hold that against you. I'll let that pass. I saw the Auburn University thing, and it just shot me right in the face. No, you're good. Can you, congratulations. I saw that graph was very powerful of all the universities that you so quickly were able to onboard. And obviously your customer logos are awesome. Can you describe a little bit more about the revenue model on the subscription fee side? So I know that I understand the 1% of the salary part, but are they like monthly contracts, annualized contracts? Do you tier them based on size of corporation? Can you just kind of like break down that model?
Yeah, so definitely. So really early on, we didn't know how to price WeSolve because we add value in so many different places. One, we help to build the pipeline with more diverse candidates. We help them better assess these candidates. And then also we crowdsource real projects to really smart and talented folks. So we started with a flat fee model to try to understand where companies were extracting value. And we realized really quickly that access to the platform, even being able to engage and connect with these diverse candidates, as well as facilitating the challenges became kind of the real value add for these large organizations. So we wanted to build a model that companies would be able to flex based on the number of hires. Today, we have 3 tiers where companies are able to have access to the platform for a certain number of candidates, so 300 candidates. Then we move to a second tier where companies will have access to a larger subset of candidates, around 1,000 candidates, and then a third tier where companies have access to 3,000. And we're talking about super large enterprise companies like an Amazon or a Microsoft would use the larger tiers.
Excellent. Next question over to you, Susan.
Hi, thanks for diving into the DEI component. Certainly important these days. My question would be, what is the top priority for your organization in the next 6 months?
Yeah, really great question. I think our top priority is the top priority of many of the companies that we're working with. It's building a really strong team. We know we have product market fit in the sense that we've been able to put a product out there, get really big companies to use it, and we've seen value on both sides. To be able to scale to the company where we're affecting millions and we're allowing employees across the world to thrive, we need to have a really strong team to execute. And so we are raising capital at this moment to support us growing our team of executors to continue to build out the business model.
Okay. And last question over to you, Jeanette.
Yeah, really intrigued by this. I've been part of that hiring process of creating those projects for candidates to complete when we get to the late stages of an interview process. So I'm interested in, there's always some nuance in how these projects get created when an employer does it. So how are you scoping those so that they're done either with your insights and done on a level playing field to reduce those biases, or to help employers create a good business case for a potential applicant to work on?
Yeah, so I'd say there's 2 aspects of what we do differently. One, we put this in the beginning of the process. So that's the first step. We are allowing more candidates to have access to this type of experiential learning and this type of project so that we're not weeding or getting candidates out from things that are not predictive of performance. Second, we leverage an IO psychology-backed methodology for building these case challenges based on the actual skills and competencies that are necessary for a role, whereas most companies are saying, this is a project similar to something that you might do in this organization. Let's build it and use that to assess folks who are at the late stage. We instead are building each of these challenges based on the actual components that are necessary to measure a particular skill or competency, and allowing the company to put their unique variables or products or elements in to make it unique and special to their organization.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Stella. And while the judges write down some notes and fill out their form, how can attendees find out more information about WeSolve?
Yeah, so attendees can check us out at www.wesolve, WESOLV, no E at the end, .com, or they can shoot me an email at Stella, STELLA, at wesolve.com.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's bring up our 4th participant, Good for Work.
Hi, I'm Geraldine, CEO of Good for Work, the virtual team engagement software that builds team trust by triggering positive routines. Good for Work is available in the Microsoft App Source and the Slack app directory. We serve primarily enterprise customers in many industries. I'm a third culture kid. My father was born in France to a Polish migrant family of 10. My French mother comes from a family of entrepreneurs. From an early age, I learned to live within different cultures. From those formative experiences, I learned to see people better within their own unique cultural context. I found the purpose while I was working as an HR leader for more than 15 years, enabling diverse teams, work well together. Later, when I founded Good for Work, I put that purpose into the product's core. Good for Work was made to meet the challenges and opportunities of leading distributed teams across geographies. We do this by building structure for teams. This includes making teams accountable to each other and creating that supportive, positive mindset. If we don't do this, we know what will happen. The Great Resignation is there. Our team engagement routines are positive feedback loops that help people get to know each other and better understand their strengths. We do this with multi-directional kudos for soft skills or skills that anyone can send, from another team members to another teams or managers or even customers. Those data, once ephemeral, become enduring data structured into soft skills and skills within individual and teams profile. As an HR leader, I have all the data, or manager, I have all the data of my people at my fingertips. Those also inform a fair performance assessment process. These data also help people be aware and accountable for their impact on the work experience of others. Good for Work early customers found a means to connect their people across geographies. They also value how Good for Work avoids overwhelming managers or HR people. We don't send weekly surveys. We don't monitor how people are doing. Instead, we work on people awareness and self-leadership. This is a great opportunity we are bringing about in the new world of virtual teams. Team-centric tools that build trust and encourage self-leadership. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your presentation, Geraldine, and welcome to the stage. So first question over to you, Susan.
So thank you for your presentation. I guess my question would be, what milestones have you hit so far, like from a traction perspective?
Yeah, so Good for Work is already available absolutely in the Microsoft App Source and Slack App Directory. So we have reached 100 users so far from different companies. But as you understood, we are going after enterprise. This is where we provide the most value for Good for Work because, of course, you know, we have organic traction actually without any investment so far. So this is why I started to raise money. And that natural traction and that organic traction just proves how important it is to solve today the huge problem of building virtual trust. But when you have organic traction with users from different companies, we need to bring more teams together. Because when you want to foster transparency or to break silos, you only can do this within a big enterprise.
Excellent. Next question over to you, Jeanette.
Yeah, I'm really intrigued about just the sense of connection and community that Good for Work is building. And I'm wondering how you customize the routines to fit a company's unique values and culture.
Yes, thank you. I love that question. So we know that the default mode of communication in the virtual world is no communication. And when you have no communication, you need to force on a positive mindset because you know how humans can be. So that's why we really force on these positive routines and from where people are. So this is why Good for Work is part of the big work tech market, because it starts from the team communication tool. It means that when you have somebody all day long on Microsoft Teams or Slack, they can definitely start their routines there by sending some recognition. And the uniqueness of the recognition that we send, they are about soft skills and skills. So basically we measure the experience of people, and we work on self-awareness. So we don't bet on rewards or perks for culture. We bet on appreciating the experience and the self-awareness of people.
Excellent. And last question over to you, David.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear about how you managing your team and the things that you've learned being a team leader, how that's informed kind of every time you iterate on the product and things.
Yes, love that question too. Thank you. So I'm very early stage compared to all the other great startups. So my team is built with amazing advisors and an external team, which is very talented. And I learned a lot. And I guess this is where I am somehow already in the future of work, because I have outsourced team and experts that really help me to iterate. But of course, I've learned a lot by leading my technical team, which is basically all over the world. And this is where the idea and the iteration of Good for Work really started. So thank you for that question, because this is where I understood that recognition is really at the core of connecting people of diverse cultures and diverse, spread across geographies. There's no other ways than recognition to do this.
Excellent, Geraldine. Thank you so much. And while the judges write down their notes, how can attendees find out more about Good for Work?
Website, goodforwork.com. And please reach out to me on LinkedIn as well. I'm happy to answer all the questions. And yes, very simple.
Excellent. Thank you so much. All right, let's bring up our fifth participant, Pilot.
Pilot is thrilled to compete in SHRM Lab's Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. I'm Ben Brooks, the founder and CEO of Pilot. I've had a successful executive coaching practice, which has been the inspiration for this business for nearly a decade. I'm a former senior vice president of HR at a big global company, and I'm very involved in the HR community, from writing a monthly column for HR Executive Magazine to being a top influencer and speaking at conferences. We're also really proud that Pilot is one of very few certified LGBT-owned enterprise SaaS businesses. Pilot is a growing business with great potential. I'm going to tell you about that. It's a 6-month employee development program that wraps around the employee. We bring the stakeholders together. We really treat the employee as a customer. We leverage a cohort model and a shared development plan, all of which I'll tell you more about. Now, these are just some of our very happy customers all over the country and all over the world. We actually just won an award with one of our customers for the future of work innovation around DEI. We were named a top HR product of 2020 by HR Executive Magazine. And we're excited to see this list of customers continue to keep growing. In terms of the business itself, we're addressing a massive market need with existing budget lines, but the products in the space are not really serving HR or employees. We've got great unit cost economics, we're 100% virtual delivery, and we're in an area and a category that's going to exist for a very long time, but that's massively underserved. We're also very capital efficient with a great team that knows HR, and we've been remote since our founding before it was cool. In terms of better workplaces where both employers and employees can win together, we leverage a 6-part model, which has employees reflect and be more self-aware and makes them think. We bring managers and employees together because those relationships are so important, and we provide meaningful feedback from managers to employees. The peer cohort drives inclusion and belonging. The group coaching helps challenge employees and gives them perspective. And we tap into executives to help decode the unwritten rules of work. And of course, for HR, we have an entire program management track that helps HR roll out the program, ensures that people use the product, and we can measure everything to prove the ROI. We leverage a shared development plan. And it turns out that most people need similar things when it comes to development. So we cover the 80-20 of what most employees need. It creates a common language and shared distinctions that helps bind culture at organizations. And employees have real world impact. It impacts their behaviors. They make tangible changes that they share with their sponsors and HR, and often say it's a life-changing experience. And SHRM knows it's all about being efficient and strategic. We help HR fill a gap, which is often what to do with hypos, diverse employees, or retention risks. it's a scalable employee development program. We give a role for HR, managers, employees, and executives for great change management. And we've got all the results to prove it, that people are using it, that it's changing the perception of the company, that they're growing, their managers see that, and they feel powerful at work. We help improve retention, inclusion, and those critical manager relationships. I'm Ben Brooks, and we want everyone to feel powerful at work.
Thanks for that presentation, Ben, and welcome to the stage. And for this first question, Jeanette, over to you.
Yeah, I'm curious as to what part of the employee journey is the program implemented at? Where have you found success?
Great question, Jeanette. We often see that, employees that have been at a company for maybe a couple of years, they kind of have the itch where they may be considering, are my best options outside, obviously with the Great Resignation. Often, organizations have a sense of where that kind of cliff or that break point is. So often in advance of that, sometimes as part of extended onboarding, is also bolted into existing training and leadership programs that organizations want to sustain, have it be longer than maybe the week-long meetup or the 3 months. So a variety of different points where we're typically targeting sort of the middle of the pyramid from an organizational hierarchy. It's not the top 5 or 10%, the frequent flyers that get a lot. It's often, colleagues that HR has always wanted to reach, but has never really had the tools to meaningfully develop at scale.
David, next question over to you.
Then your background looks so nice. It looks like it's virtual. It doesn't even look like it's a real thing, but I'm watching the outline of your face to see any weird.
It does. Yeah. So it's real. That's real. I'll move the flowers if we got, it's a campus.
Yeah. Very nice. Good inspiration. Question for you. So, one thing I noticed was the diversity in your customer profiles that y'all shout out on your website. And for a product like yours that involves coaching and things, I would kind of think you might see a more, not standard customer profile, but I might be able to pick apart like a pattern, but it sounds like you've got all kinds of different, from financial services to consumer and things like that. Did y'all start out that way in your customer journey, or did y'all have a more specific customer profile and y'all got really good at that and then grew from there? How have you approached the customer acquisition as far as the profile goes?
Yeah, it's a great question. We've sort of experimented and learned as we've gone. I would say that we've had a lot of hypotheses, the majority of which we've disproven. We're often wrong, and we learn. We have a steep learning curve at our company. We actually measure our rate of learning. I think a bit like, I know, David, you're in Teach for America, and there's principles around education that would apply in different regions or geographies, urban, rural, et cetera. The same thing applies to adult learning and development, that someone may be in, fashion like Gap, one of our customers. They may be in insurance like MetLife. They may be in media like Viacom, CBS, or auto like Cadillac. But, they still have a manager. They need to manage their focus. They want to feel included at work. They need to expand their locus of control. So there's certain things that are going to be industry specific. We find that our customers handle those really, really well. It's the more core developmental EQ, soft skills, self-management. The future of work is often very self-directed. We really optimized around those. And we've just found that, frankly, any employee that has a desk or uses a laptop is a pretty good fit for our product. And so while it's certainly not everyone that gets a paycheck in the United States or the globe, it's a whole lot of folks that, really have to be knowledge workers for the future.
And last question over to you, Susan.
So to expand a little bit on your last thought, because I work for a PEO, so what would intrigue me, since we have a lot of blue collar workers, is how you would engage with organizations. Is it future focused where it's mobile enabled versus desktop where people don't have that, especially in the new remote hybrid workforce?
Yeah, Susan, it's a great question. We actually, another PEO, JustWorks, is one of our customers and has been able to roll out our product, especially during the pandemic, to lots of folks. We do have folks that are hourly employees that are in more trade sort of jobs. We actually work with a large water utility company, and our product is 100% mobile enabled already. And so we deliver to employees. We meet them from a change management perspective where they are, which is typically their email and text message. Mm-hmm. Everything works on every device. You don't need to download any apps or software, nor do you need any passwords. And so it's already optimized for that. And so again, we're continuing to experiment with the use cases with employees across the country and across the world. But we've had folks, Susan, that have been in the cab of a F-350 truck going out to a water site with an orange vest on, joining a live group coaching session. We've had salespeople in the parking lot of an office park We've had a whole bunch of different folks at airports joining, and that's the flexibility, because the kind of front door to inclusion is flexibility, and that's what the mobile technology and the asynchronous of our product allows.
Thank you for clarifying that.
Thank you very much, Ben. And while the judges write down some notes, how can attendees find out more about Pilot?
Well, we'd love to hear from you. If you're in the chat, I've got a bunch of my team. Hopefully we're winning the Spirit Award tonight. We've got contact details and links and everything else. We'd love to speak to you. We've got a great group of diverse colleagues. I'm ben@pilot.coach is my email. I'm very findable on Google. Connect with me on LinkedIn, or our website is www.pilot.coach, COACH, pilot.coach. Thanks, everyone.
All right, thank you. All right, let's bring up our sixth and final participant for tonight, Collabogens.
James is the Director of Workplace Strategy for Acme Corporation. For the last year, most of his staff have been working from home, but shortly Acme Corporation will start reopening their offices, but with lower occupancy than before, due to social distancing and staff well-being. Whilst Acme's staff have been working from home, they have been working more independently, and much of the previous creativeness has been lost. James knows that once back in the office, there is the potential, if done correctly, for the staff to regain their connectedness and for creativity to increase. But James has a problem. He knows that many of the staff want a hybrid working arrangement moving forward, with some days spent working from home, and others spent in the office. He is happy with this, but knows from previous experience that most people will want to work from home on a Monday and Friday and come into the office Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. But that doesn't work for Acme. In order to reduce the number of staff in the office at any one time, and to comply with the new corporate social distancing policy and the wish for hybrid working, James is planning to split the staff into a number of cohorts that attend the office on different days. But how can he determine which people should be in which cohort? James knows that in order for the staff to get the most out of attending the office, they need to be there at the same time as the other people that they are currently collaborating with. But how does James determine who is collaborating with who? What he needs is collaborative intelligence. What he needs is Collabogens. Collabogens measures the collaborative strength between individuals, within and between groups and teams, and even from location to location. Collabogens pulls anonymized data from email, messages, conferences, calendar bookings, documents, and web conferencing applications such as Teams, Zoom, and WebEx, together with data from badging systems, Wi-Fi, VPN, building sensors, and AV systems. In fact, just about any corporate data source. And all whilst remaining GDPR compliant. And displays the data on regularly updated dashboards and reports. Using this data, James can make evidence-based decisions to form the ideal cohorts to ensure the most productive outcomes when staff are in the office. And the staff enjoy their time in the office through in-person interactions with the colleagues that they are collaborating with. Once his plans have been formulated and put in place, James can then track changes throughout implementation and, if necessary, make adjustments as he goes. Using the Collabogens tools, James can recapture the lost collaboration between staff, optimize office space and occupation, break down silos, and assess changes in inclusivity. Collabogens. Putting the right people in the right place at the right time.
All right, welcome to the stage, Peter, and a very interesting presentation, I must say. You get the A for creativity. So, all right, so first question here, over to you, David.
Peter, the audience noises were so funny. I laughed like every time with the ahs and the little things and the cool. That was so funny. So tell me about this. As far as the social distancing, the time aspect makes a ton of sense to me. The Monday and Friday, and that doesn't seem like that's going to go away. The social distancing aspect, though, as we open up, and do you still see that 3-4 years from now being a consideration, or is that more an immediate the physical spacing aspects? Is that more of an immediate?
I see the physical space being absolutely an immediate, the return to the office. The biggest challenge certainly is the commute back to the office, but they want to feel comfortable in the space. As we go back, and this is kind of the challenge that all the companies are being faced with, is how do we manage the transition, which means how do we make hybrid work? And then B, come two other questions is, in the future, there's already a lot of companies looking from how do we reduce real estate? And so it's how much space do we need? And then the second question that comes with it is, what should that space look like and how should it be designed? And what we can do is actually give you an understanding of the personas that are actually using the space. And based on who's in the space, it may be configured significantly different from space to space. And that's the big $1 million question or $100 million question in terms of what's that space look like and how much of it do we really need? That's what we're working toward. The beauty is we kind of find ourselves in a unique situation that if we had tried to make a big cultural change 5 years ago, the biggest obstacle would have been resistance to change. We're now faced with a situation where everybody's expecting change. So it's beautiful, and that's where we're really betting on evidence-based decision making and not just a gut feel in terms of how people feel and how should it look like and that type of thing, so that we really bring some science to the equation.
Excellent. Susan, next question over to you.
So my question would be, what are some targeted industries that you guys are looking to work with in the near future?
So our experience been, and so my background was big global companies. I'm originally a Dutchman. I've lived in 7 countries. I'm in Canada now. I think I'm the only Canadian representative here tonight. Is that we're kind of industry agnostic insofar that what we look for is really large populations of knowledge workers. And so you could be manufacturing, but as long as you have a significant knowledge worker component, that's really where we're focused and bring the value add. In hindsight, our first big client ended up being a bank, which ended up setting the hurdle really high from a privacy, security, compliance, and governance perspective. But we learned to cut our teeth with that, and we made it through those hurdles.
Okay. And last but not least, Jeanette, my last question over to you.
Yeah, hear a lot about monitoring tools these days, that employers are monitoring their employees as they work remotely. Do you see any hurdles, obstacles for adopting this type of solution where people feel like they may be monitored?
See, I'm a collaboration nut by nature. And so for me, it's all about how do we make the collective better? And I don't want the system at all to be, even from a governance and structure perspective, that you can single out any individual. So the client defines the groups, just like in an employee engagement survey, you group your people. And typically the minimum group size that I've seen is 5, so that you can't pull out the individual. And then we push back, we provide your data back to you in structures where it's all focused on the group of 5 or larger. Like I've argued with clients that some of the groups that they gave me were too big, and said, you don't get enough granularity in terms of what's going on, because you end up with an average solution. And an average, the image that I always have in my head, and I have a slide that I use in presentations all the time, is with 1 foot in a pot of boiling water and the other in a block of ice, are you okay? So just think about that for a moment. And the answer is absolutely not. So I'm suggesting that departments, groups, teams, even divisions have different cultures. And therefore, you should be looking at them on that group level to make significant changes. Don't try and implement one average solution for everybody, because it may not meet anybody's needs.
Thank you very much, Peter. And while the judges write down their notes, how can attendees find out more about Collabogens?
Absolutely. So the best place to go is our website, so collabogens.com. There's a series of articles and some of the presentations that we've done. That would be the first place to start. And of course, reach out to me at peter@collabogens.com.
All right. Fantastic. Thank you very much for being here tonight. All right. And that actually completes the round of pitches. So let's give all our competitors a round of applause. Great presentations. And now the judges are going to be deliberating on the pitches you just saw. We're actually going to be going into a separate Zoom room And while they deliberate, we hope you enjoy some great information we have to share with you, especially a short video on our upcoming talent conference, which is going to be held this year at the Gaylord Rockies Resort, April 10th through the 13th in Denver, Colorado. Please also visit the Knowledge Center virtual booth, which has some great information about this benefit that SHRM members have access to. And we will be back shortly with a decision in about 10 minutes. All right, we'll see you soon.
We are standing on the precipice of a new future. Never before have so many workplace challenges been present. But with each challenge comes opportunity. A chance to disrupt what was and create what will be. Now, more than ever, the time is now for HR to lead workplace innovation. And innovation is the key reason why SHRM launched the first ever Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. Earlier this year, we put out a call for workplace innovators solving the most pressing workplace challenges. Over 150 teams of entrepreneurs answered the call and competed in 17 local rounds that were co-hosted with SHRM chapters nationwide. Judge panels made up of SHRM volunteers selected the top 3 pitches from each local round to advance to the regional semifinals. The 5 regional winners competed in the finals event held at this year's annual conference.
Innovation, at the end of the day, is critical if we intend to reset, rethink, reimagine HR. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Damon John.
Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for being in HR.
From all of these impressive presentations, only 2 innovators remain.
The 2 finalists will be Simba, and the next one is Compt.
And the winner of SHRM's 2021 and first ever Better Workplaces Challenge Cup is
Compt. Oh my God.
We work. That's what we do.
We get up and get at it because our work defines us.
What do I aspire to be?
This is my break, what I've been working so hard for.
I have big dreams for myself. I know what I want for my career and my family.
I want to know that what I do matters.
I want to be better than I was yesterday.
It's a small business, but my employees and their families rely on us to succeed.
Beyond our sense of self.
Our work is life.
It's entry level, but I'm going to prove I have something to offer.
This is my chance to build a career.
So close to that down payment.
These college fees are stacking up. Gotta ask for that raise.
I have to start putting more aside for retirement.
As HR professionals, we impact all of this.
What we do matters.
SHRM is an organization that represents some 300,000 HR professionals across the globe. But most importantly, we touch and affect, influence the lives of 100 million workers every day. You can't find a CEO today who is not talking about people and people issues.
And what we're for is safe and dignified workplaces for everyone.
Every profession.
Every day.
All around the world.
HR is there.
My work gives me confidence.
My work gives me hope. I can provide for my family.
My kids will have things I never had. I enjoy giving back to my community.
I have a sense of my own value.
I am finally an expert at something.
I want to instill a work ethic in my kids.
Take care of my folks.
I want to make a contribution to this world.
I love HR.
It's the most human profession.
My work gives me purpose.
My role in HR gives me pride.
HR matters.
HR is an opportunity to change lives.
What kind of world
will you create?
In one of the most challenging years our businesses have ever witnessed, SHRM Research was there every step to answer your toughest workplace questions. This was possible because SHRM members like you provided real-time insights to our team of researchers. We wanted to take time to share some of our more surprising and noteworthy findings from this year.
COVID has had a devastating impact on businesses across the U.S., particularly small businesses, but many have proven resilient. SHRM research found that over 2 in 5 small businesses had started rethinking the way they do business, and a third had found a new way of delivering existing services due to COVID.
Over 1/3 of American workers reported that they don't feel comfortable discussing race at work. This perception differs along racial lines, with 45% of Black workers saying their workplace discourages discussions of racial injustice issues at work, compared to just 30% of white workers. Interestingly, 70% of HR professionals we interviewed said these discussions are okay at work. This is an opportunity for HR professionals and organizational leaders to guide employees to have thoughtful, civil, and respectful conversations about race and create workplaces where everyone feels included and can express their points of view.
Some of the benefits that employers adopted during COVID-19 might be here to stay. Over 2/3 of organizations, 68%, said they would probably or definitely adopt broader or more flexible work-from-home policies for all workers following the pandemic.
So much of this timely body of research wouldn't be possible without our members who share their everyday lived experiences at work. By participating in future studies, you can continue to help SHRM answer the most pressing questions that impact work, workers, and workplaces across the globe. Together, we can achieve our mission to create better workplaces for a better world.
Now that she's a manager, she's wondering, exactly how do I manage? She'll acquire the skills and confidence she needs with PMQ from SHRM, a self-paced, interactive, and entertaining learning journey. In every binge-worthy episode, managers face challenges, see the impact of their decisions, and test their growing skills with gamified assessments. Perform well, and they can earn the PMQ. Better managers create better workplaces. Pre-order SHRM's new People Manager qualification now.
right, and we are back. Thank you very much, judges, for the deliberation. And, once again, let's give a hand to these 3 companies that competed today. And as mentioned at the beginning, 2 of them are the ones that are going to be moving forward and will compete in the semifinals of the 2022 Better Workplaces Challenge Cup. So let's get right to it. The top 2 companies for this segment are Anthill and Pilot. So major congratulations to Anthill and Pilot. We look forward to your participation in the semifinals. And judges, any words you'd like to say to tonight's winners? Susan, starting off with you.
I'd just like to say, coming from a startup in my prior life, I know how difficult a pitch is. And I just give you all kudos for being vulnerable and sharing your story and bringing a new, unique solution to the market.
Mm-hmm. Jeanette?
Yeah, I've worked in startups. I know what it's like too. Really difficult hill to climb, but really just impressed by the overall talent, all the innovative solutions that were presented tonight. It's really tough to make that decision. We all fought it out here on the judges panel, but very excited to see who moves on to the finalists.
Okay. And David.
Yeah, congratulations. Obviously, all the pitches were great to even get this far. You got to be doing a lot of really good things right. Also, y'all should know Susan and Jeanette just have awesome insights into all y'all's companies. And it was great getting to work with y'all to learn my backgrounds in venture capital and more on the finance space. So the Jeanette and Susan were just great about, really seeing how beneficial everybody's companies can be in the workplace. So great job.
Okay, fantastic. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, judges, and a big thank you to the participants, and obviously everyone out there. Thank you for attending. Please note that, as we said at the beginning, this event qualifies for 2 PDCs toward your SHRM CP or SCP certification, and the code to use is 227377, N as in Nancy, and we're going to be displaying this code in a second up on the screen. Next up, next week is going to be our 4th first round segment on Tuesday, March 15th. And as already mentioned, the top 2 companies from that round will be moving to the semifinals as well. The finals is going to be held at the SHRM Annual Conference and Exposition, which this year is going to be held. We're moving it back to June, actually. So June 12th through the 15th in New Orleans. Please visit betterworkplaceschallengecup.com to make sure you stay informed and register to some of our future events, and we hope you can join us. So have a great evening, everyone, and we'll see you soon. All right.